my favorite chapter in your book was the last one. You call it spiritual, but you hesitated to use that word. But it's emotional and psychological, and you go over ancient traditions that drew humanity where we are mindful of the sun all the time. I'm an enrolled member of the Osage tribe of Indians, Oklahoma. We call the sun grandfather. It's a very affectionate, connecting feeling. Could you reflect on that a bit, your last chapter?
Yeah, absolutely. Our human beings, prehistory is not the same as history. We don't have exactly the same connection to understanding how people were thinking that we do when they began writing stuff down, but we can tell a lot from looking at what they left behind. The entire world is covered with monuments to marking where the sun comes up on the solstice and where it sets on the equinox, and on and on and on. Clearly, the first job of almost every mythological system in the world was to come up with an interesting explanation for how this thing rose above the earth every day, disappeared for 12 hours, and then reappeared again on the other side. And people came up with spectacularly interesting and powerful, from the solar boats of the pharaohs to turtles carrying the sun. I mean, it's been. It's funny too, because the sun is literally the only thing in the world we really can't look at directly, and yet it dominates in many ways our imaginations. And it's not just prehistory. We're actually at a fascinating moment of discovery about the sun right now. On New Year's Eve last year, a satellite launched by NASA approached the sun more closely than we've ever gone before. It was traveling faster than any human object has ever traveled before. And it brought back all sorts of fascinating new information about how the sun flares and what the winds off it are like and things. It's an astonishing machine, just turning hydrogen into helium at extraordinary volumes, and it's going to be there for several billion more years doing that, which is in an unstable time, a quite comforting idea. It really is the one thing that we can absolutely count on, and that's a very human thing too. I feel dramatically the lack of security at the moment. I don't think I'd ever, until this year, quite understood how much I'd taken for granted the stability of the country and the civilization in which I lived. Because now I don't take it for granted at all, and there's a lot of times when I wake up at 3 in the morning absolutely panicked about where we are and what we're doing and how it's going to end. But there is something comforting in knowing that part of the story. I have a brand new, 18-month-old grandchild, my first, which now means that I know someone and love someone who's going to be around in the 22nd century. So we better come up with some plan for how the world is going to work in the 22nd century. I mean, that's our most basic and fundamental obligation as human beings, one that we are currently failing in very dramatic fashion. Now we've got something to seize that at least gives us a framework on which to build that kind of future.